These are just some of my favorite alien movies that I reviewed on my channel. Enjoy!
You want to do this?
This could be our only ticket out of here. Be in and out in 30 minutes.
Welcome to the Romulus space station.
Alien Romulus is a 2024 sci-fi horror film. From my understanding, it basically picks up after the end of Alien from 1979. This is going to be spoiler-free, so I'm not going to give away a lot of information because I really enjoyed this film, and I think if you like the original Alien and Aliens, you'll really enjoy this film too. And it's really great to see at the theater if you are able to because of the special effects and the outer space scenes and the spaceship scenes. It's just amazing to see on the big screen. It starts out with Rain and Andy, played by Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. Rain is an orphan, and she is trying to get off of a certain planet onto another that actually has a son. She's working, and they changed the credit requirement in order to leave. And so she's going to be stuck at that station on that planet for about another 6 years. She explains her parents are passed away, and it's just her and her brother, Andy. Come to find out, Andy is not actually her actual brother, but an android, or as he prefers to be called, a synthetic human. At first I thought maybe he had a speech impediment or some sort of disability, but he's just a malfunctioning android. In order for her to escape this life she's on, which by the way I thought, oh my god, you have to collect credit in order to be able to stop working at this one spot, and you know, you have to work so many hours of credits or so many hours. I thought that's absolutely terrible. Then I realized that's actually work. You have to work most of your life. She only has to work 6 more years and then she can leave. Probably to another spot on another planet, but anyway. Rain and Andy meet up with another group of kids and they have a plan to steal some highly regulated equipment from this big corporation. What could go wrong? And I admit, when I saw the commercials for this, I was like, what is this? It's just a bunch of youngins. They're going to try to fight this alien. What is going on? Again, I won't give anything away, but they are young and ambitious, as we all once were. Even me, at one point in time, I was also young and ambitious and hopeful.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So it makes sense that this group is probably made up of younger people who think they can actually achieve certain things. Now, I tried to avoid all the information about this film as I could. I did see a couple things which gave away some parts of the movie, which I wish I had not seen. Some of it is actually in the trailer, some on social media and some of these groups and pages that I follow, and they had some photos that I really wish I hadn't seen until I saw it in the movie. So avoid all the information that you can and watch this film in theaters if you possibly can. Is it as good as the 1979 Alien? Probably not. Nothing's ever going to top that for me. But there are so many similarities between the first one and the sequel Aliens. And as a matter of fact, there's many callbacks to both films. One of them being a CGI version of this character from Alien, who has actually passed on in real life. I'm trying not to give anything away. I'll just tell you, it's Ian Holm. He passed away. You probably know him best as Bilbo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. Not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. You children, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Ian Holm played Ash, who was an android. And I'm going to say something really quick. I might be the minority in this, but I always hated the fact that there were freaking robots in an alien movie. Maybe that's being really nitpicky. You're going to be like, they're all sci-fi. What are you bitching about? I just never really cared for the whole thing. Oh my god, it's an android. I just wanted aliens. So what they did, they had another version of this robot, but it was still had the resemblance of Ian Holm, who played Ash in the original Alien. Now, I will tell you, from a distance, from far off, I was like, is that supposed to be Ian Holm? Did they use his likeness? And they did CGI. From a distance, it really looked good. Close up, CGI is good, but it's not as good as it could be. Like, it's not going to pass as a human. So I kind of wish when they showed him, it was more at a distance, because it just looked kind of goofy when they did that big close-up and you can see him talk. It just didn't look real. But again, he is a robot, so I don't know, maybe that works. So I will say it was kind of cool seeing a version of Ash in this film. The special effects were really good. I believe they used a lot of practical effects. At least that's what it looked like. And one of the reasons that I am glad I saw it on the big screen is because, for one, it's horror thriller. And so seeing that on the big screen is always so much more fun. But they had a lot of scenes of the spaceship, of outer space, and seeing that on the big screen was so much fun. There were some jump scares. There were some really unsettling parts. Honestly, the worst parts for me were the face huggers when they, like invade the person's mouth. Like, that is so nasty. Honestly, of all the things that I've seen in the movie, that's really the only thing that made me kind of wince and turn my head was the face huggers insertion of its thing into people's mouths. That was so nasty. But what I really also appreciate about this, though, was the fact that, listen, we know what a xenomorph looks like. We know what the alien looks like. So I thought, I don't know if this is going to be scary because we've seen it 100 times, even though it is the most perfect killing machine besides a cat. So how can we make that scary without showing too much? Because in some movies, when they show the creature too often, while it's scary at first, it kind of desensitizes you to it. You see it, it might still be unsettling, but it's not as scary as it was the first few times you saw it. But the way they did this, I believe, was really good, really smart. They did show it, don't get me wrong, they did show xenomorphs. But they did it in a way where it still had some mystery to it. They gave a few explanations, at least in my mind, to some things that the alien does. I do say that when I saw the trailer where they show these face huggers bouncing all over the place, running around like hopping spiders, I thought that looks kind of goofy. But again, it is done in a way where it's not foolish looking. It is still unsettling and creepy. There are some really good scenes that makes you hold your breath watching it, because you feel like, obviously if a few people on screen are trying to be quiet and move quietly, unlike my cat in the background here, you kind of hold your breath and stay still too. I thought the acting was really good. The characters are really good. The girl, the one who played Rain, she looks so familiar to me, and I don't think I've seen her in anything. I think, honestly, she just reminded me of Jennifer Lawrence. She has a lot of similarities to her, and I realized it after I realized who else she looks like. I believe somebody online mentioned this, that she looks like Ellie from the video game The Last of Us, and I've never played the video game. I know what happens in the second one. I won't talk about it, but but she does. She looks like Ellie from The Last of Us. So, I mean, honestly, all I can picture is Ellie or Jennifer Lawrence. And I'm trying not to, because the girl's a good actress and I really like her. But honestly, that's all I can think of is that's Jennifer Lawrence. My brain can't differentiate that right now. And poor Andy. You just feel so bad for him. He gets picked on, which there's a little bit of prejudice of some people against the synthetic humans. One of the guys in the group really does not like Andy, and the reasoning behind that is because his mother was killed when an android decided to sacrifice a few people to save more. I can't remember if it was a gas leak or an explosion, but I'm sure it had something to do with a mine, because that's what most of these people are doing on these planets. They're mining. Sacrifice 3 to save 12, I believe it was. And androids are not programmed to harm people. They're programmed to not harm people. However, when it came to making a decision on who to save, the android decided to save the bigger group of people. So the boy's mother was killed by an android, so therefore he hates all androids. But Andy, he has his face, and he looks so sad sometimes. And in the beginning, he seems so innocent and sweet and confused at times. And even though he's a robot, I'm like, I would adopt you, Andy. You poor thing. He's like a little child, And so that's why Rain has this protectiveness for him. Besides the fact that her parents are gone, someone put Andy down by telling her, that's just a defected android your father got out of the garbage and fixed him up. That's her only relative left. That's her family, is Andy. So I thought it was a lot of fun. You will have to give it some time, just like in the original Alien. If you think about it, Alien didn't pick up for a little bit of time. And once it picked up, it picked up. And that's what this movie does. It takes a little bit of time to pick up. Just go with the flow. Have faith in it. There will be aliens. Trust me, there will be many aliens. There are some scenes, like I say, that are nice callbacks to Alien and Aliens. So that's pretty much all I can say without giving anything away. If you have seen Alien Romulus, please let me know what you thought of it in the comments. If you plan on seeing it, if you have seen the original Alien films, let me know. And I do suggest you see this in theaters if you can. If not, at least watch it at home when it's available to stream or rent or whatever. Because I thought it was really good. And I hope I don't disappoint you, but I was very happy I got to see it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Alien from 1979. Alien falls within the science fiction horror film genre because it's about an alien in outer space in the future. Very sci-fi-y. But it's also very much a psychological thriller. And while it does have jump scares, do not get me wrong, it is very much about what you don't see. Now, as you know, recently there's been another Alien film released, Alien Romulus. Now this actually, from my understanding, takes part between Alien and Aliens, if I have that right. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments if I am.
Worst episode ever.
And yes, Alien has spawned several sequels, some better than the others. For the most part, they're fun to watch. And I think you probably have heard a lot of people refer to this crew or this film as truckers in space because they drive this huge rig basically in space. Bless Kitty, that's Jonesy. While we usually see people in outer space as astronauts, somebody who is very much educated and smart and intelligent, not that these people aren't, but these people are more down to earth for being in space. When they wake up, basically, they're eating meal together, they're talking back and forth, and it's very realistic. Pretty much what you would expect. But what is not expected, this call that they're receiving. This call from a planet known as LV-426. This crew is on this ship called the Nostromo, and when they get this call, they decide to investigate. Bad choice, bad choice. What happens is they get down there in their suits, and it's pretty apparent that this is an alien station. The artist who helped create the designs of the ship, of the alien itself, H.R. Geiger. I'm sorry, I've heard it pronounced both ways. And he was a very unique man. This egg opens up, and within this gooey, sinewy thing, this face hugger hops out, and it attaches itself to the victim's face. Forcibly, I would say basically, impregnates the human through the mouth, and within a certain amount of time, this creature, referred to as a chest burster, literally bursts out of their chests, hence the name, and it runs off, it molts, it gets bigger and deadlier. And that is exactly what happens. Now, one of the reasons that it is such a dangerous creature is not only because it's huge and it's tall and has a spiky tail which can kill you. Oh, and this thing flying out of its mouth, a little mini mouth right there. Yeah, that's deadly. But also its blood is acid. You've heard the floor is lava. Well, the alien's blood is acid, which makes it very difficult to kill in this spaceship because you can't just blast the alien like you probably would in any other horror movie or sci-fi film, because if you do that, well, I mean, you guys are in space. You're probably going to implode and die. There's also what seems to be like a social class in the film, which they talked about before the problem of the alien, back when things were a little more calm and a lot less hectic. They feel like they should be paid a bigger sum. Just because they're not the head people, they still deserve some money. And so you get this idea that there is a little bit of a clash within this group, which again, it's very normal and makes it more realistic. I mean, you can take a group of people working together anywhere, and there's bound to be some hostilities at some point. One of the reasons I love this film so much is because no matter how many times I see it, the way the alien is filmed was so smart, because after an amount of time, you kind of get a little, I don't want to say bored of the monster, but if it's shown so often, even throughout a 2-hour movie or even an hour and a half, you get kind of desensitized to it. So much of the time, the alien is filmed in just spurts, or you just see part of the alien. A lot of it is still kept in a lot of mystery, which is something a lot of movies nowadays, they're lacking. And a lot of times the alien, like I said, is hidden in plain sight. And I love that. Because even when I watch it the second, third, 12th time, even though I know what I'm looking at that point now, I know where he's at, or the creature, I know where the creature's at, it's still so eerie. This music is great, by the way. And there is a lot of music and background atmosphere, and they have an awesome soundtrack. A lot of it is just terror. And I think that's how I would describe it too. It's not just a horror movie, it's terror. The thought of space makes me uncomfortable anyway, because you don't know what's out there, you really don't. One day I'll do a more of an in-depth review, because this is one of my favorite movies and there is so much to talk about. So one day I'll do that, but until then, this is my movie suggestion for you today, and I really hope you enjoyed it. What is your favorite scene in Alien, and what is your favorite Alien movie out of the franchise? If you haven't seen it, check it out and come back and let me know what you thought. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.
The food ain't that bad, baby.
What?
If you love alien films like I do, I want you to comment, "I want to believe," in the comments. The Thing, starring Kurt Russell as R.J. McCready, featuring Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
The beginning starts off kind of jarring. We see a dog, and I will say this first, again, I always warn you. They depict bad things happening to animals. A lot of puppetry, it's fake. The dogs were not harmed, I'm sure. Having said that, I still fast forward a certain part in the film, a Norwegian helicopter following a dog running in the Antarctica. This guy just gets out of the helicopter, starts shooting, and so the Americans in their base, they come out and shoot the guy down. The first time we see McCready is when he's playing chess with a computer, gets upset that he lost, and poured his drink in the computer and damaging it. They take the dog and put him in with the rest of the sled dogs that they have, and this is an American research group. They're in the middle, like I said, of Antarctica. They are very isolated, just a bunch of men doing manly scientist things, I suppose. So McCready and another guy, they go off to the Norwegian base to see what in the hell is going on. Why was this guy chasing this dog and why was he shooting, and just try to, answer some questions. What they find are the charred ruins and the frozen corpses of the people who were at the Norwegian base. And also a deformed human. They take the body back to their base, and Blair does an autopsy and finds a normal set of human organs. So very odd thing to find. This is a movie that you can watch with other people, and you're probably going to get different opinions or reactions out of them. It all kind of depends on what you notice, how you interpret things, who was the thing, who wasn't the thing. Practical effects always age so much better than CGI. This alien organism kind of multiplies itself. It mimics whatever creature it takes on, and it takes over. And another thing that is really unsettling is how it will kind of mimic several things at once, or a human and an alien. There's one scene, and I don't want to give anything away, but I'm going to do it anyway, so if you don't want to hear absolutely anything, skip ahead about 20 seconds.
It isn't Fennec!
Something about it is just so unsettling, and it's so uncomfortable. And that's another thing about this. It's not just a horror movie or a sci-fi horror psychological thriller. You have a group of people isolated from any help or any civilization for a very long ways off, and they become very distrusting of one another. That you don't know who you can trust. If you can trust the person you've been friends with for a long time, you don't trust anybody. You only trust yourself. And when you have a group of several people, that's not really going to work out for everybody's benefit, because we have to work together, but then again, we can't trust each other. It's that mass hysteria, a little bit of a paranoia, but they have a good reason to be scared because this alien organism is taking over people. I remember being younger and not disliking the movie, but I just thought it was so gross. Like the special effects, they looked so nasty, and all this body horror. But I love watching body horror, weird horror movies, because I like to think how they did that if it was practical effects. I think it would make you question, what would I do in that situation? I think we all want to think we would be like McCready, just smart and level-headed. I think I would be like Blair.
I'll kill you!
I don't trust anybody. But this film is now one of my favorite movies of all time, period, especially one of my favorite horror movies. It's such a unique take on an alien invasion. Sometimes it's not what you can see, it's what you can't see. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and this movie suggestion, and please give The Thing a watch. Now, there was like a prequel to The Thing. It's kind of explaining what happened before The Thing from 1982. I think a lot of people put it down because of the use of CGI. And they had intended on using practical effects, but I don't know if it was the production company or what, but they insisted they use computer special effects, unfortunately, because the special effects just weren't really all that great in the prequel. The story itself was pretty good, though. I thought it was decent. So give The Thing a watch, and then watch the prequel. Or watch the prequel first, then The Thing, however you like to do it. And let me know what you thought of it. Do you like body horror movies? Do you like alien invasion movies? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this one.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Independence Day is a 1996 sci-fi action film with a large cast, including Will Smith, the cool Will, not the slapping people for making G.I. Jane jokes Will.
It was a joke.
Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Robert Loggia, Randy Quaid, who actually may be the most sane man in Hollywood after all, Vivica A. Fox, and Judd Hirsch. You kids may know him best as Alex from the TV series Taxi. I don't know what you kids watch nowadays. But side note, Taxi was a great show. I highly recommend it. My favorite character was Jim, played by Christopher Lloyd, who I knew best as Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There was no need to do the shoe scene. It scarred me for life. Okay, I got sidetracked. I will keep this as spoiler-free as possible while still mentioning why you should watch Independence Day and who would enjoy this movie. So as you can imagine, this is about an alien invasion. This is probably what triggered my megalophobia. I mean, look at that. Look at that thing. That ship, which is one of several in the film, is the size of a city, and it goes to all the major cities in the world. The way it billows out from the clouds in New York City, it's a behemoth of a craft, towering over the tallest skyscrapers and making human beings look like ants. It's absolutely terrifying. Humanity is at the mercy of these aliens who don't seem to have come in peace. And also, the sound of the ship coming in, it sounds like an actual living creature. Kind of like maybe a dinosaur from Jurassic Park, which Jeff Goldblum was also in.
But life finds a way.
Now we follow a few different characters during all of this. A fighter pilot, Smith, nerdy but very intelligent and charismatic cable tech guy, Goldblum, and even the President of the United States, played by Bill Pullman, all dealing with the crisis in their own way. Eventually, humanity has to come together to fight back. It builds up to this epic showdown, and I won't say how things go, but it's intense and stressful and epic. That epic word is used a lot, but it's the best word I can use to describe this movie right now. For 1996, these were groundbreaking effects. I was absolutely amazed by it. Now, that was a while ago, but the scale of the destruction, which again is horrifying.
It was traumatizing.
And the design of the alien crafts, the creature designs, just perfect. Now, nearly 30 years later, this is still a highly recommended film for both sci-fi, horror, and action fans. Well, why horror? Well, look at it. It's terrifying.
You think you're gonna see that kind of thing at school? Look at it just lumbering around. It doesn't even... It defies all logic, that thing.
Independence Day is fun, dramatic, has a lot of comedy, and it has a spot in the Sci-Fi and Action 1990s Cinema Hall of Fame because it's just quintessential 90s action. And so many quotable quotes.
Welcome to Earth. Oh my God, I gotta call my brother. I better call my housekeeper. I gotta call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer.
That's what I call a close encounter.
This is the ultimate battle film, Earth against an alien race that has come to destroy anything and everything and everyone in their path. Now, I do love a good action film, and this is definitely that. Lots of battles, we have heroes, the underdog, as well as some humor. I absolutely love this film. Despite having an irrational fear of aliens, or in spite of it, or due to this film, it's a staple in my physical media collection, and I highly recommend you get a media collection, a physical media collection that is, because streaming, I can't always count on it. I want things I can hold in my hand. I didn't realize how long this movie was until I watched it recently. It's almost 2.5 hours, but it doesn't feel drawn out. We have enough stories and characters going on that we don't get bored. At least I didn't. And it's not too many storylines and too many characters that it gets bogged down, which happens a lot in movies. They're all connected in a way, and that's another reason I think this is a very entertaining film. We have people from all different walks of life, friends and foes, who come together in the end for one goal, to save our planet and ourselves. Now, in case you somehow missed this one, do yourself a favor, watch Independence Day from '96. And, yeah.
Don't remind me.
There was a sequel that came out in 2016 called Independence Day Resurgence. Let's just pretend that one didn't happen. It just didn't do the original justice. The cast is decent, and I mean they tried, but it just didn't work for me. One of the funniest scenes was unintentionally funny in the very beginning. They say something along the lines of, humanity put their petty differences aside. I've seen people fight over toilet paper. Humanity ain't gonna do that. Aliens are not. So tell me your thoughts of Independence Day, or if you haven't seen it, please give it a watch and come back and tell me what you thought of it. I thought it was going to be a great movie suggestion for Independence Day here in America on the 4th of July. And there are some, as I say, some great and memorable scenes. And Bill Pullman as the president gives one of the best speeches ever. Absolutely. Great movie. I'm just in love with the film. And you might watch it and not be as enthralled by it as I am. I know it's a lot of nostalgia involved.
Little piece of 90s nostalgia.
I can't find a lot of faults in this film. Yes, it's near perfect. Is it perfect? No, but it's near perfect. And Jeff Goldblum, this is probably peak Jeff Goldblum in my personal opinion. I'm a sucker for him.
I don't have a crush.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye. Happy Independence Day.
Let's kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy. Let's bring it on. Let's bring that bad boy on, Cap. You the man!
That is so weird. The wind is blowing toward the storm.
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
War of the Worlds came out in 2005 and was directed by Steven Spielberg. It starred Tom Cruise, Miranda Otto, Justin Chatwin, Dakota Fanning, and Tim Robbins. Now, if you're totally unfamiliar with the whole War of the Worlds premise, I'll give you the gist of it. Aliens come down and attack human beings and seem to be harvesting humans. War of the Worlds was written by H.G. Wells in 1898 and was adapted into a radio program in 1938 by Orson Welles. Now, you probably heard about this, although from my understanding, they had like a disclaimer that this is fake, this is fantasy, this is not real, aliens have not come down and attacked human beings. This is the late 30s and people were lucky to have a radio, and if they turned it on and they thought it was an actual news broadcast, I can understand the hysteria. I mean, look at today. People believe in TikToks and they believe everything they see online. So I have no reason to believe that this type of occurrence would not happen again with people believing whatever it is they hear. Tom Cruise plays Ray Ferrier. He's a dock worker and he lives in New Jersey. He has 2 children, a young daughter named Rachel, played by Dakota Fanning, and a teenage son named Robbie, played by Justin Chatwin. He's divorced from their mother, Mary Ann, played by Miranda Otto, and she has since gotten married and is pregnant, and it's Ray's turn to watch Rachel and Robbie. This did not go over well. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad father, but he definitely is not in line with watching children or making sure that he doesn't feed them food they're allergic to, or feeding them at all, actually. He just kind of goes to bed and sleeps. He's a busy man. I understand that aspect. I understand it and I respect it. There is a huge storm, what looks like storm clouds coming in, and everybody's in their backyard looking at it. Things start happening. We're like, okay, let's get in the house. Let's get in the house. All this lightning starts striking, and it strikes in the same spot numerous times. And maybe it's because of my megalophobia, and I blame it on Independence Day, which caused me to fear this stuff. The thought of anything huge coming into our atmosphere is just terrifying, even if it's clouds. Clouds can be scary too. A healthy fear of storms growing up in Tornado Alley. So eventually something comes out of the ground where the lightning struck, and this comes out and starts shooting rays at people and basically just turning them into dust. Their clothes are just kind of dispersed and their bodies implode into this white powdery substance. The thought of that is terrifying enough. Of course, he has to make it home because he's like, oh wait, I got kids at the house. So he finally makes it back home. And not that I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, but always I would say my favorite Tom Cruise movie is Tropic Thunder because his character is freaking hilarious. But if I had to pick a good Tom Cruise movie that stars Tom Cruise, I would say War of the Worlds because he's really good in that. And of course, he's really an action guy in a lot of these films. And this is definitely an action film. So let me know in the comments what you thought. If you want some more movie suggestions or reviews, please check out my channel. I have a lot and I'm trying to add more as time goes on. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Check out War of the Worlds. Have a good day. Bye.